word ekklesia in Greek. That's the word for church. From two words, ek and kalein. Ek means out of, and kalein means to call. The church is that community of people who've been ekkaleod. They've been called out of something, namely the world. They've received the word from the Father and the Son, and they've been called out of the world. Therefore, typically, the world will hate them. That's a harsh truth, but boy, is it the truth. The great saints, admired, yeah, by many, typically hated by many more. Go through the lives of the saints. You'll find it every time. Loved and admired by some, yes, indeed. Often hated. Why? Well, because the world hates the ways of God. If the world stands for cruelty and hatred and violence and injustice, it'll stand athwart the word of salvation, the word of love. Here in the cell in the Tower of London where St. Thomas More was kept, so many thoughts going through my mind and heart at this moment, just to be in this place. First of all, how cold it is. These are like just the little quarters he had. Imagine going through winters here. We would have looked out those windows at the river. Conflicts arose with Henry VIII, with the Act of Supremacy, when the king claimed supremacy over the church. More didn't rush into opposition. More served the Lord wittily during those years, finding a way through the English law to maintain his integrity. Oftentimes, the culture will be congruent with our Christian convictions. When it's not, we can again, with prudence, try to make our way. It's only when it becomes a matter of either or, one or the other, that we then have to take a stand. Thomas More is a beautiful example of how a lawyer, how a statesman, a politician, a writer, a man of the world could bring the gospel into that setting. We see a beautiful model of how to be as innocent as doves and as clever as serpents. So many things is striking about Thomas More. What came to mind now is, again, to reference A Man for All Seasons, that scene toward the beginning, or is with Cardinal Wolsey when he's upbraiding More. He says, you could have made a statesman if you didn't look at everything with that moral squint. And More's famous response in the play is, well, Your Grace, I believe that when statesmen forsake their private conscience for the sake of their public duties, they lead their country by a short route to chaos. That line has always haunted me. We have a lot of that going around in our politics today. Politicians who are all too willing to forsake their private conscience. The conscience, as Cardinal Newman said, is the aboriginal vicar of Christ in the soul. The conscience is the voice of God within us. We would say, and it's not just a pious sentiment, that our country is under God. It's extremely important. When we forget that, then law and politics become self-involved and self-justifying. Keep in mind now his famous last words before he was beheaded. I die His Majesty's good servant, but God's first. That's the key to Thomas More, and it makes him still a very powerful guide to all lawyers and politicians today.
I want to see. No, Bartimaeus didn't say that. He said, Lord, let me see. What is the first thing that Bartimaeus sees after years of blindness? Jesus. Jesus. So if you don't see Jesus in the messages that you are intaking, you are downloading, you are fixing your eyes on, there's a problem. Because you're staying blind. I'm staying blind. I'm relying on myself. But Jesus asked this question, and Bartimaeus doesn't say in some snippy matter, where have you been all these years? Of course I want to see. Of course I want to, I want to be able to work for a living. I'm a man, aren't I? But Jesus respected Bartimaeus in his suffering and difficulty, that he wanted Bartimaeus to respond. He wanted Bartimaeus to make a choice. He wanted Bartimaeus to exercise his human dignity by making a free and explicit request before the Lord. Guess what? Jesus does that with everybody, from the President of the United States to the homeless man in San Francisco. He wants each one of us to make a free, explicit choice to God.
He had helped hundreds of patients, donated generously to the church, and was considered by everyone in his town to be a model Catholic. But when he knelt in the confessional, Padre Pio refused to give him absolution. The doctor was stunned because he had come expecting praise, not rejection. What had Padre Pio seen in this man's soul that no one else could detect? And the answer to that question touches a spiritual danger so common that most people practicing it right now believe they are doing something holy. And the depth he was looking for was not emotional intensity or dramatic tears. It was the moment when a person stopped relying on their own merit and simply stood empty before God. This connects directly to what Padre Pio saw as the core danger of spiritual self-reliance. And here is the part that deserves slow, careful attention. Padre Pio believed that this sin was more destructive than sins of the flesh, more dangerous than anger, more corrosive than greed, because every other sin drives a person toward repentance eventually. Pain and consequence and shame push a sinner to seek God, but spiritual self-reliance does the opposite. It convinces the person that they are already close to God, that their discipline and devotion have secured their position. There is no pain to drive them toward change because the sin itself feels like faithfulness. And this is the reason it still matters for anyone listening to this right now. Because the people most at risk of this are not the indifferent or the rebellious. They are the ones who pray daily, who serve their communities, who take their faith seriously. Padre Pio's warning was directed at the devoted. His message was not that good works are meaningless. His message was that the moment you begin to trust your works more than you trust God's mercy, your virtue has become your cage. The good works continue, but the soul behind them has shifted from surrender to performance. And that shift, Padre Pio said, happens so quietly that most people never notice it until something breaks them open. What broke the doctor open was the simple experience of being refused by a saint. 3 days of rejection stripped away every spiritual credential he carried and left him standing with nothing but his own inadequacy. And in that emptiness, Padre Pio saw what he had been waiting for. Not perfection, not a better confession, just a man who had finally stopped performing his faith and started living it.
And he says, as often as you did it for one of the least of my brethren, you did it for me. And to the others, he says, I was hungry, you didn't feed me. I was naked, you didn't clothe me. I was ill and in prison, you didn't visit me. And they will say to them, to Jesus, when did we see you? And he says, as often as you didn't do it for one of these least of my brethren, you did not do it for me. And you realize they both call him Lord, right? Those going to heaven and those going to hell both call him Lord. Now, it could be at the end of time when Jesus reveals himself as Lord to everybody, even those who didn't believe in him. That's a distinction. Maybe that's that case. But the differentiation between heaven and hell is not based off of, did you believe in me? The differentiation between heaven and hell is not, did you have faith in me? The differentiation between heaven and hell is, did you take care of the least of these, or did you not take care of the least of these? Did you do something, or did you not do something? Now, this is so critical. Salvation is a gift of grace. None of us deserve it. None of us work our way to heaven. None of us can work our way to heaven. It is a free gift. Remember, we're saved by grace through faith, working itself out in love. At the same time, faith without works is dead, utterly useless. It can save no one. Having works is not merely a sign that I've been saved. Having works comes out of this lived relationship with God where I've actually surrendered myself to him. No, it's completely his gift, but I have to do something with his gift, or it is as if I never got a gift. Now, here's an example. Maybe I've used this example before, but I'm going to use it again. So imagine Christmas comes around. Maybe actually, no, not even Christmas, not even your birthday. Your parents, out of nowhere, out of just the sheer goodness of their hearts, they decide to buy you a guitar. Again, nothing you earned, nothing you deserve, not even your birthday, not even Christmas. Out of nowhere, your parents are just like, I love you so much. We're going to give you this guitar. And this is not just an ordinary guitar. This is an extraordinary guitar. It's incredible. It's one of the best guitars ever made, right? Not only are we going to give you this guitar, we are giving you, right down the road, is one of the greatest guitar teachers of all time. You have unlimited lessons with this person. As often as you want to train with them, as often as you want to study with them, we've already taken care of it, completely provided. Anytime you want, you just walk down with your guitar, and this incredible guitar teacher will teach you guitar. If you ever break a string, if you ever wreck the guitar, if you are walking down to the teacher's place and smash it against a tree accidentally, or even on purpose, we will completely fix that guitar. We'll replace that guitar. Now, if I've been given all those things, I didn't merit it, I didn't deserve it, but I've been given those things by these parents who love me, but I never pick up the guitar and play it. If I never go down the road and actually learn from this great guitar master, if I break a string but then never ask for it to be fixed, I've been given the gift, but is the gift of any use to me? No. Now, did you do anything to deserve it? If I work really, really hard at the guitar, can I be a great guitar player? You can't without a guitar. So the gift itself, the guitar, the lessons, the repairs, the replacement, unmerited, free gift. I could never work hard enough to get this. So it's not saved by works. It's not I'm a great guitar player because of works. But unless I actually work, it's as if they never gave me the gift.
Busy street in Queens will soon have a quiet spot for prayer and reflection with the opening of a shrine dedicated to St. Pio, revered by many Italian-American Catholics. Tony Aiello reports it's a labor of love and devotion for a Queens man and his family.
The gentle gaze and open arms of St. Pio, his hands bearing the stigmata, the wounds of Christ, the bronze statue made in Italy, just like the man who brought it to New York.
And what do you see when you look at that statue?
I see life. It's beautiful. Can't talk about it too much, I get tears.
Joe Pedisano is a successful restaurant owner devoted to the Franciscan friar known as Padre Pio. He's revered in Italy and wherever Italians have emigrated.
Padre Pio experienced tribulation in his life. For a time, the Vatican was suspicious of his ministry and even banned him from preaching.
Pedisano has also known tribulation. In 2020, his seaplane crashed near the Throgs Neck Bridge. He was critically injured.
I think I'm alive because of God and the Holy Ghost. I'm still alive and the help of Padre Pio, and I'm going to do something back. And that's why I did this.
This is a shrine to Padre Pio on Little Neck Parkway, on land Pedisano donated, where statues of Padre Pio and other saints will surround people seeking a moment of serenity.
I really want them to leave with a sense of peace and togetherness.
Tina Opedisano says her father's determination to create a sacred space has been inspiring.
It's beautiful to be a part of a holy project, a religious project, something that brings you closer to God.
This week, the 9 statues will be installed, and on Sunday, the shrine will be blessed. Opedisano, his private devotion, shaping a public space where all will find welcome. Tony Aiello, CBS News, New York.
If you would like to join, that blessing of the shrine is open to the public. It's 3 p.m. Sunday along Little Neck Parkway.